Welcome. Today we're going to be playing Takenoko. Takenoko. And we're also going to show you how to play this game as well. This game is about a servant, or a bunch of servants, who have been entrusted to take care of the emperor's bamboo garden. But not only that, but most importantly, you're also supposed to be taking care of his lovable panda. And so, there's a nice panda there. Isn't he lovable? He's cool. They're very beautiful looking for sure. And so your job as a servant is to take care of that panda as well as the bamboo garden. Now, as a servant, you might be somewhat frustrated that this panda comes and eats all of your hard-grown bamboo, but you also have to keep it quiet too, because you want to earn the emperor's respect by taking very good care of his panda as well as growing some wonderful bamboo. And today, a good friend of mine, Pudding, Emperor Pudding, has decided to be my opponent. He happens to be from a faraway land. He's an emperor from a faraway land and has decided to come and live here and help out the emperor take care of his panda, since they are both somewhat black and white. So, anyways, let's get started. So, first of all, let's show you the cool little figurines that come with this game. The panda, right there, and then there's the gardener. These will be moved around as an action, doing a variety of different things. This one, when the panda is moved around and he is moved to a plot of land, he'll eat one little bamboo sprout. Now, the gardener, he will be moved around to help grow the bamboo after you start getting plots of land put down. And at first, there is no plot of land, just this nice pond tile, and that's it. And so as you play, you will add more plots of land. In fact, to get started, the first action you should always take is getting some land down, for sure. Now, each of us will start with 3 objective cards, and there's 3 different types of objective cards. To complete the game, for a 2-player game, you must be the first player to complete 9 objectives. And then when that happens, everybody else who's playing, if it's just 2 people, then the other player will get one more turn to try to complete some of their objectives. Now let's take a look at some of these objectives. So there's the gardener objective, there's the panda objective, and then there's the plot of land objective. And so these are hidden from your opponents. And we'll just pretend, well, technically he's looking the other way anyway. So in order to complete this objective, there has to be 2 bamboo, and there has to be growing up to 3 exactly shoots of bamboo. I'm keeping all of the supplies, the bamboo supplies, those are cool, right? There's 3 different colors. And the irrigation lines as well, away from view, just to make it easier on me and myself and all that. And then we also have this nice little dice here as well, which will be rolling into that box over there shortly. So, in order to do that, you'd have to have exactly 3 bamboo. You have to have exactly 2 bamboo, but it has to be 3 shoots up. The maximum you can have is 4 shoots. But in order to complete this objective, if these 2 pink bamboo were 4 shoots already, then you wouldn't be able to complete this objective. It has to be exactly 3. Alright, now this is another action you can take. If you are the person who is moving the panda around, wherever you end up putting him, he's going to take, if there's bamboo there, a shoot of bamboo, and he's going to eat it. When that happens, that bamboo is going to actually go here into your panda supply, and then when you have eaten exactly 2 green shoots of bamboo for this particular one, you will put these 2 green bamboo shoots that you might have here, and you'll put them, well, back in the box. And that means you will have completed the objective. And then you can just put the objective in front of you. Now, things can change in the game, obviously. So, even though you complete an objective, these might be changed back to 4 again. But it doesn't matter, because once you've completed an objective, you don't have to, maintain the objective. It's complete, and it's out of the way. And then you can just move on. Okay? And then, there's this one, the plotted land objective. So you'd have to have 4 plots of land for this one that are all pink, and they'd have to be in this particular order. Now, that doesn't mean they have to be exactly like that. They could be like this, for instance, or like this, for instance. But they have to match at least one of these sides, at least. And then, not only that, but then each of the plots of land have to be irrigated. So if they already are irrigated, because there are some tiles here that already have the irrigation on it. See, this symbol here indicates irrigation, so let's show you this tile. So this means that this tile, if this tile goes onto a plotted land, then it means that that plotted land is now irrigated. And so when you place plotted land, it's going to go around the pond, and anything that touches the pond is automatically irrigated. But then everything else that's farther away, you have to build a irrigation line, and it has to be touching the borders of your plotted land that you need to irrigate. Or if you manage to get one of these, or if one of these tiles here already have, like this one already has the irrigation on it, for instance, then that would also count. So that's really cool. And there's 3 different types of tiles. There's the one that means it's already irrigated. This one is fertilizer. So if there's fertilizer and it's irrigated as well, like with an irrigation line, for instance, or at the pond, for instance, then every time bamboo grows on that spot, 2 bamboo shoots grow. Not 1, 2. Now, you can only have 1 bamboo growing, but they can go up to a maximum of 4. So obviously, these are really useful. And then this means that the panda cannot eat there. So some tiles will have enclosures around them. That means the panda can never eat bamboo from inside an enclosure. You could move the panda there, but he wouldn't be able to eat he wouldn't be able to eat the bamboo. And so if you get one of these, you can put one of those as a free action, or that, onto a slot, onto a tile. Also, when you get these irrigation lines, you can actually keep them here in the supply as well as those other tiles I mentioned just a minute ago, or a second ago, and you can hold off. And then as a free action later, you can then add these as necessary. So that's pretty cool. All right, so let's talk about the actions. So on the first turn, you'll just start with these actions, but then on your second turn and every turn after, you're going to roll a dice, and it's going to affect the weather, possibly. And it does a variety of different things with this dice, but we'll get to the weather in a minute. Let's go over the actions. So your actions always must be different, and you only get 2 actions per turn. So your first action could be to put out a plot of land. You'll draw the top 3 of these, and then you'll put one out. Now, when you have to follow this rule when you put them out. If you put it out, if it goes here, that's fine, because this is the pond. But if you have a plot of land already here, and you decide to put the next one over here, that's not allowed, because there must be at least 2 plots of land touching it. So if it was to go over here, there has to be one here, and there has to be one here, and it has to be then next to that one. Otherwise, you would have to go next to the pond. So just to kind of establish that you'll be adding tiles around the pond mostly, first of all, anyways. So that's one important thing to note. So that's one of the actions you can do. Like I said, you can take as an action, you can take one of these blue irrigation lines. A third action you can take is you can move the gardener. Now the gardener, he can move as many spaces as you want in a straight particular line. But if there was a tile like, for instance, here's a tile, and then here's a tile over here, it's not directly in his line of view. So he wouldn't be able to move to it. You'd have to go like this, and then as a second action, probably in your next turn, he would have to go like that, for instance. And that's the same thing goes with the panda. It can continue in this direction as long as there's crops of land to continue on in a straight line, but he can't do the same thing. It has to be within his line of sight. So that's the fourth action you can take. The fifth action you can take is taking an objective card. So you can take one of these objective cards as your fifth action. You can only have a maximum of 5 cards in your objective, so you can't have any more objectives than that until you've completed some, or at least one. Now the weather. We'll get to the weather in the next video.